Hello friends, myself Professor D.V. Madhyalli. I'm working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication in the Hiraz Sugar Institute of Technology in SOC. In this video, I'm going to explain or discuss about the one experiment of analog circuits lab, that is the design of common emitter voltage amplifier with and without feedback. So here amplifier is used to increase the strength of the input signal, and in this case our aim is to how the common emitter configuration transistor is used as an voltage amplifier, and what is the importance or what is the benefits of the feedback system. And also in this case, in this experiment, we have to calculate the mid-band gain, then bandwidth, and the product of gain and bandwidth, and also how to measure the input impedance and the output impedance values. So this is the common emitter voltage amplifier circuit. So this is a NPN transistor. We are using SL type of NPN transistor, and it is having three terminals: emitter, base and collector. And this transistor is having two junctions: emitter base, collector base, and based on the conditions of these two junctions, the transistor is operating in three different regions. In cutoff region, it acts as a off switch. In saturation region, it acts as a on switch, and in active region, it acts as a amplifier circuit. Now our aim is to use this common emitter configuration transistor is used as an amplifier circuit. So at that time, the emitter base junction is forward biased condition, collector base junction is reverse biased condition. This is one thing. And the second thing is the operating point of the transistor should be stable or constant in the active region and is exactly centered in the active region. It should not move near to saturation region or cutoff region. But sometimes due to some variation in the current, whatever the operating point of the transistor may be varying. So if it is varying, if it is changes its place, at that time this transistor is not used as an amplifier. So our aim is to stable or maintain constant the operating point of the transistor in the active region. So we are using one for that problem. We are using one circuit. This is called as a voltage divider biasing circuit. With the help of this part of circuit, we can maintain the constant operating point of the transistor in the active region to use as a transistor, to use as an amplifier circuit. Then third point is the coupling capacitors. So these coupling capacitors are used to block the unwanted signals. So here unwanted signals are DC signals, because these DC signals are supply voltages are used for the two PN junctions. Okay, so when we use these, when you use the particular DC or supply signals in this particular circuit, so and these DC signals when you mix with the input signal, at that time here at the base of the transistor we get some distortion. If you get some distortion in the input side, there is some distortion also at the output side. So that with the help of these two coupling capacitors we can block the unwanted DC signal, and it allows only AC signals to the base of the transistor. Next, one more is emitter bypass capacitors. So this emitter bypass capacitors is used to whatever the AC signals comes at this point, with the help of this emitter bypass capacitor, it will go through the ground. It is also unwanted AC signals. It will go to the ground side. So with the help of this emitter bypass capacitor, whatever the unwanted AC signals comes at this emitter, it will go to the ground. So next, our aim is to how the input signal is amplified by this transistor. Consider we are applying one sine waveform, that means positive half cycle and one negative half cycle. Consider during the positive half cycle of Vi, it means we are applying the positive part of the signal to the base of the transistor. So when we apply the positive signal to the base of the transistor, at that time, whatever the emitter base junction, it becomes forward biased condition. It becomes forward biased condition, and this junction is reverse biased condition. So when this emitter base junction becomes forward biased condition, at that time, whatever the base current is flowing towards the base terminal of the transistor, it is increasing. When the base current is increasing, and whatever the current flowing through the RC at the collector side, that IC current also increasing. So at that time we will get some part of output signal. This is during positive half cycle of the AC input signal. Then second thing, if you apply the negative part of the signal, it means you are applying negative signal to the base of the transistor. Negative signal to the base of the transistor, at that time this junction becomes reverse biased condition. When this becomes reverse biased condition, automatically the IB will decreases. As IB decreases, IC also decreases. So at that time, with respect to the input signal, we get some output signal. And one more thing, it is also called as an inverting amplifier. Because if you apply the positive part of the signal, here you will get negative part of the signal. Because according to the equation, output equation, VCC minus VCE minus IC RC is equal to 0. Okay, then separate VCE. VCE is equal to VCC minus IC RC. During positive half cycle of AC input signal, when IC increases with negative sign, means, so we'll get the negative part of the signal at the output side. Then during negative half cycle of Vi, IC is decreases in the negative sign, or with the negative sign, and the IC will decreases negative sign. So at the output side you will get the positive part of the signal. So like this, with the help of this transistor, we are amplifying this input signal. For example, if you apply Vi is equal to some 50 millivolt in terms of millivolt, the input voltage is 50 millivolt. So with respect to this, we are getting that output voltage in terms of volt. Okay, so this is the operation of the common emitter voltage amplifier circuit. And in this case, we are classified without feedback and with feedback. So this is the circuit of without feedback. In this case, the RL is connected directly to the ground point, and this is with feedback circuit diagram. In this case, the RL is connected to another end of bypass capacitor and emitter resistor. This is the difference between without and with feedback. Then what is the benefits of feedback in the amplifier circuit? So actually in the voltage amplifier circuit, some of the important parameters like voltage gain, bandwidth, input and output impedance. So these parameters are very important characteristics of an voltage amplifier. And these parameters are nearly constant for a particular voltage amplifier, but sometimes we need to change these parameters. So at that time, with the help of this feedback technique, we can vary the parameters like voltage gain, input impedance, output impedance and bandwidth. And what are the advantages of this feedback system? So we can maintain a stable of particular voltage gain, and with the help of this feedback system we can reduce the distortion. Okay, we can increase the value of input impedance, we can decrease the value of output impedance. So totally we are managing all the parameters of voltage amplifier as our convenient, as our requirement by the feedback system, by the feedback technique. The next thing is, what are the design steps we are using in this common emitter amplifier circuit? So consider the VCC is equal to 12 volt, that is supply voltage, IC is 4.5 milliampere, VC is 6 volt, VE is 1.2 and current gain factor 100 and RL is 10K. So now in this design steps, in this design part, our aim is to calculate resistor R1, R2, RC, RE and capacitor CC1, CC2 and CE. These parameters we need to calculate in this design. So first of all, consider VE. VE is the voltage at emitter terminal. It is I into RE, and this equation is also equal to IC into RE because IE is nearly equal to IC. We know that the transistor current equation IE is equal to IB plus IC. If IB is neglected because it is very low value, it is measured in terms of microampere. So when we neglect the base current IB, at that time IC is nearly equal to IE. And from this equation, so we can calculate the emitter resistor RE, that is VE by IC. So we are getting this value, and then we selected a one standard value for this RE, that is 270 ohm. And here V is 1.2, IC is 4.5 milliampere. Next, apply the KVL for the collector loop. So we are getting one equation. VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE plus VE. And from this equation, separate the RC parameter. RC is equal to VCC minus VCE minus VE. So after putting all these values in this equation, we are getting 1 kilo of standard resistor value. Now we calculated RC and RE. Next, our aim is to calculate R1 and R2. So beta, it is a current gain factor. So this beta is equal to 10 times of R2 divided by RE. 10 times of R2 because we are using a voltage divider biasing method to maintain the constant operating point in the active region. So to maintain a stable voltage, so we need to use the 10 times of resistor R2 divided by RE, and from this equation we are directly getting the R2 value is 2.7 kilo ohm. Because beta is a known value, RE is also calculated value, then R2 is 2.7k. The next thing is the voltage VB. It is a voltage at base terminal. So this is the voltage at base, and we are writing this VB voltage according to the voltage divider biasing method. That means R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into VCC. R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into VCC. And one more equation, VBE. It is a cut-in voltage of the EB junction. VBE is equal to VB minus VE, and from this equation our aim is to get the VB voltage. Okay, and here VBE is equal to 0.7 for silicon transistor or silicon base emitter junction. So finally VB is equal to VBE plus VE. 0.7 plus 1.2 is equal to 1.9 volt. We are getting VB is equal to 1.9 volt. Then put this VB is equal to 1.9 volt in this equation. 1.9 volt, VCC is 12 volt, R2 value is 2.7k, and from this equation our aim is to calculate the R1. After calculation we are getting this 15k resistor. And here consider the CC1 and CC2 is equal to 0.47 microfarad, and according to the thumb rule the X of C is equal to RE by 10. From this thumb rule our aim is to calculate the emitter bypass capacitor. Then C of E is equal to 10 divided by 2 pi FL into RE. Okay, and consider it is a lower cutoff frequency, 100 Hertz. Okay, put all the values in the C equation. So after calculation we are getting 47 microfarad standard value. Next, go to the observation table. So in observation table we are dividing this observation table in the two types, that is without feedback and one more is with feedback. Hello friends, now in this second video of common emitter voltage amplifier with and without feedback system, I am going to explain about the observation table means how we are taking the readings of input signal frequency, output voltage, and voltage gain. In this, first of all, without feedback system, consider Vin is equal to 50 millivolt, means keep this Vin is equal to 50 millivolt constant at 1 kilohertz particular frequency. In the observation table, so this is your Vin input signal frequency, this is output voltage, and this is voltage gain, and this voltage gain is measured in terms of decibels. See here, in the first reading, when I give the 50 hertz, the output is 0, the gain is also 0, and for second reading 100 hertz frequency, the voltage is slightly increasing from 0 to 0.6, the gain is also increases, and 500, if I give the 500 hertz frequency, 1.7, for 1k 1.9, for 2k 2 volt, for 5k 2 volt, for 10k 2 volt, for 20k 2 volt, and this 2 volt is constant up to 500k. That means from 2k to 500k, the output voltage or output voltage gain is constant. And again after 800k, the output voltage will be decreases 1.9 and 1.8. It means initially the output is low. As the frequencies increases, the output voltage also increases. At a particular frequency of 1 kilohertz, after 1 kilohertz, the output voltage is constant up to 500k hertz, and after 500k hertz, again the output voltage will be reducing. This is in the case of without feedback system. Same in with feedback, consider or put Vin is equal to 50 millivolt constant at a particular 1 kilohertz frequency. Here also same thing, as at the initial condition at the 50 hertz of input frequency, the output is 0. As you increase the frequency, the output voltage increases. As output voltage increases, so after some 800 or 1 megahertz frequency, again the output voltage will be decreases. So here you will get the idea about observation table. That means in the frequency response of without and with feedback. See, this is at 0 level, at output 0 level. When we apply a small amount of frequency, as output is 0, the gain is 0. As the frequencies increases, the output also, that means the gain also increases. And after certain frequency, up to FH level, the gain is totally constant. And again after this particular frequency level, the frequencies again as increases, the output voltage or gain is decreases. From this graph, our aim is to calculate the voltage gain and bandwidth. Bandwidth is the difference between higher cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency. Then after that, the product of gain and bandwidth. Okay, and For this particular both graphs, we need to use a semi-log graph. So in the semi-log graph, we'll get the idea how to calculate, how to measure the voltage gain and bandwidth. That means FH minus FL in both without feedback and with feedback circuit. And this is calculation part. Just now I explained. First of all, calculate the midband voltage gain, bandwidth, then gain bandwidth product, then input impedance and output impedance in both cases, without and with feedback system. So always input impedance is very high, output impedance is very low in both with and without. So in this slide, how to calculate the input impedance. So this is your main source voltage, and this is one more voltage we are measuring after this resistor. Okay, now our aim is to measure before RS what is the input, what is the voltage, and after RS what is the voltage. So when you, with the help of this multimeter, so when you connect, you can measure from these 2 points. This is the input impedance. With the help of the multimeter, we can measure the Z-in, that means input impedance, from these 2 points. Okay. Otherwise, you can calculate the theoretical Z-in value by RS into Vs minus Vin by RS. Sorry, Vs. Z-in is equal to RS into Vs minus Vin divided by Vs. Z-in is the input impedance, source resistor, source voltage, input voltage, then source voltage. Similarly, in the case of output impedance, again we have to use the multimeter. From the multimeter, you can directly measure the output impedance by using these 2 connection points. Okay, here also same thing. This is your V out, output voltage. This is before RL, before load resistor, and this is VL exactly across the RL. So that Z out is equal to RL into V0 minus VL divided by V out. So this is a calculation, theoretical calculation for the Z out. And by using these 2 connection points, you can measure the practical output impedance from the multimeter. So now the conclusion of this experiment is, so we can say that in the common emitter amplifier, the input is applied to base emitter junction and output is taken from the emitter to collector terminal. Here the emitter terminal is commonly for both input and output. That's why it is called as a common emitter configuration transistor. And according to the observation table, we applied Vin is equal to 50 millivolt. That means in terms of millivolt we applied, and after the amplification, the output voltage we are getting in terms of volt. That means 1 volt, 2 volt, 2.2 volt, 3 volt, like that. It means the 2 volt is higher than the input voltage. The input voltage was in terms of millivolt. With the help of this amplifier circuit, we increased the voltage from millivolt to voltage. Okay. And second thing is, it is widely used as an amplifier because it provides a good current gain and good voltage gain. That's why it is called as a, is also called as an inverting amplifier, because if you apply positive V in, output is negative V out. Input is negative, then output is positive. Exactly opposite. and for this reason it gives a 180-degree phase shift between input and output signal. It is widely used in some of the audio amplification and signal amplification circuits. So this is the output signal of the common emitter amplifier circuit. So in common emitter amplifier with and without feedback system, the output is same. According to the tabular column, as the frequency is increases up to certain level, the output voltage also increases. As frequencies increases, the output voltage is constant till some value, and after the frequencies increases, whatever the constant output voltage is there, it is slowly decreasing. So this graph is totally divided into three region: low frequency region, mid frequency region, and high frequency region. So now I will show the output waveform, how the output voltage is varying, how the output voltage is increasing from 0 to mid region, then mid region to high frequency region. See this. Now we are setting the frequency 1 kilohertz. So at 1 kilohertz, the output signal is like this. So now we are varying 1 kilohertz to 2 kilohertz. As the frequency is varying, the output is also varying. 3 kilohertz. As frequency is varying, the output, whatever the amplitude of that particular output signal, it is also varying. Next 4, 5 kilohertz, then 6 kilohertz, 7 kilohertz, 8, then 9, 10, 11. See, approximately from 5 kilohertz to 11 kilohertz, the output is constant, and after this frequency, automatically the output signal is decreasing. So now we are taking the frequency in megahertz. So in megahertz, when you take the frequency in megahertz, automatically the output signal is decreasing. See this.